You ever notice how some people light up when they hear about a family reunion, and you just feel this wave of dread wash over your entire body? Like your chest gets tight, your mind starts spinning through excuses, and suddenly you're Googling how contagious is food poisoning just to have an exit strategy. Yeah, you're not crazy, and you're definitely not alone. There's actually some pretty fascinating psychology behind why certain people would genuinely rather sit in traffic for 3 hours than spend an afternoon with their own relatives. And before you start thinking you're just damaged or broken or somehow defective, let me stop you right there. Your brain is actually doing something really specific, and once you understand what's happening, it all starts to make sense. See, most people assume if you dread family gatherings, you must hate your family. But that's not it. You can love someone and still feel physically uncomfortable being around them. You can care about people deeply and still need to protect yourself from the environment they create. And that's the part nobody really talks about. It's not about the people themselves, it's about what happens to you psychologically when you're in that specific context. And trust me, what's happening in your brain during these gatherings is way more complex than just, oh, I'm an introvert or I'm antisocial. This goes deeper, way deeper. So let's start with the thing everyone loves to blame first. Introversion. You've probably heard it a million times. Oh, you just need alone time to recharge. And yeah, sure, that's part of it. But here's what most people get wrong. It's not that introverts can't handle social situations, it's that they can't handle certain kinds of social situations. Because here's the thing. Introverts can actually be incredibly social, energized even, when they're around people they genuinely connect with. People they chose to be around. The problem with family gatherings isn't the social part, it's the forced part. Think about it like this. When you choose to hang out with friends, your brain is calm. You picked these people. You know what to expect. There's a sense of control. But family gatherings, that's what psychologists call obligatory socialization. You're not there because you want to be. You're there because you're supposed to be. And your brain picks up on that lack of choice immediately. It's the same feeling you get when you're stuck in a meeting that could have been an email, or when someone corners you at a party and won't stop talking. That trapped feeling, that sense of, I have no control over this situation right now. And when your brain detects that, it doesn't just feel uncomfortable. It actually triggers a stress response. Your nervous system starts treating the situation like a low-level threat. Because to your brain, being trapped is dangerous. Even if the trap is just Aunt Carol asking about your career for the 40th time. But it gets even weirder than that. You ever walk into your parents' house as a full-grown adult? Someone who pays bills, makes decisions, maybe even has kids of your own, and suddenly you feel like you're 15 again. Suddenly you're arguing about something completely stupid, or you're getting defensive over the smallest comment, or you're rolling your eyes at things you'd normally just brush off. What is that? Well, there's actually a psychological explanation. It's called family systems theory. And basically, every family operates like a little emotional universe with assigned roles. There's the responsible one, the messy one, the funny one, the disappointing one, the golden child, the black sheep. And here's the wild part. Even if you've spent years growing, changing, evolving as a person, the second you step back into that family system, you get pulled back into your old role. It's like your family has this invisible script, and everyone's still reading from the version that was written 20 years ago. Your mum still sees you as the kid who forgot their homework. Your dad still sees you as the one who can't make good decisions. Your sibling still sees you as competition. And the worst part? You regress too. You can be confident, successful, self-aware in your everyday life. But one comment from your brother, one look from your mother, and boom, you're 14 years old again, feeling small, feeling misunderstood, feeling like nothing you do will ever be enough. This isn't a character flaw. This is neuroscience. The neural pathways connected to your family relationships were formed when your brain was still developing. They're deep, they're automatic, and they don't just disappear because you moved out and got a degree. Those pathways light up the second you're back in that environment, and your brain starts running old programs, old fears, old insecurities, old defense mechanisms. It's like emotional muscle memory. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention: masking. And I don't just mean for people who are neurodivergent, though it's especially exhausting for them. I mean the performance we all do, the version of ourselves we present to keep the peace. Because family gatherings aren't just about showing up, they're about managing. Managing your tone so you don't sound rude, managing your facial expressions so you don't look bored. Managing your responses so you don't start a fight. You're laughing at jokes that aren't funny. You're nodding along to stories you've heard 8 times. You're pretending to be interested in things you absolutely do not care about. And all of that takes energy, serious energy. You know that feeling when you leave a family gathering and you didn't even do anything physically exhausting, but you feel like you just ran a marathon? That's because social masking burns through your mental resources fast. The part of your brain responsible for self-control, for monitoring your behavior, for keeping everything smooth, that part is working overtime. You're essentially running a full-time PR campaign for yourself while also trying to read the room, predict reactions, avoid triggers, and keep everyone comfortable. It's emotional labor, and it's invisible. Nobody sees how hard you're working because the whole point is to make it look effortless. And if you're someone who already masks in your regular life, maybe because of ADHD, autism, social anxiety, whatever it is, family gatherings are like masking on expert mode. Because these people knew you before you figured out how to blend in. They remember the version of you that was awkward, that didn't fit, that was too much, or not enough. And part of you is terrified that they're going to see through the act, that they're going to realize you're still that weird kid underneath. So you work even harder. You perform even better. And you leave even more exhausted. Then there's the comparison trap. And oh, man, this one hits hard. Humans are wired to compare themselves to others. It's automatic. Psychologists have a whole theory about it. Social comparison theory. Basically, we figure out how we're doing in life by looking at how everyone else is doing. And family gatherings? They're comparison festivals. Everyone's showing off their highlight reel. Your cousin just bought a house, your sister just got promoted, your brother's kid just got into some fancy school, and there you are, still figuring things out, still working on yourself, still trying to get your life together. And every conversation feels like a performance review you didn't study for. How's work? Translation, are you successful yet? Seeing anyone special? Translation, why aren't you married like everyone else? You look different. Translation, I have opinions about your body, and I'm going to share them. And here's the thing that makes it even worse. Studies show that when you feel like you're failing compared to others, your brain lights up in the same areas that process physical pain, literally. Your brain treats, my cousin has their life together and I don't, the same way it treats stubbing your toe. Except the toe stops hurting after a few minutes. The comparison sticks with you. It follows you home. It whispers to you at 3 a.m. It makes you feel like you're not enough, like you're behind, like you're failing at being human. And it's all amplified because these are the people who are supposed to understand you, but instead, they just make you feel worse. Let's talk about boundaries for a second. In your regular life, you probably have some. You don't let people treat you however they want. You set limits. You protect your peace, but with family, boundaries become this controversial thing. Suddenly, setting a boundary is seen as being cold, distant, selfish. Your privacy isn't privacy, it's secrecy. Your choices aren't personal, they're family business. Questions that would be wildly inappropriate from a stranger are somehow totally fine because you share DNA. When's the wedding? When are you having kids? How much money do you make? Why did you gain weight? Why did you lose weight? Why are you still single? Why don't you call more? And if you try to shut it down, if you try to say, I'd rather not talk about that, suddenly you're the problem. You're too sensitive. You're overreacting. You're being difficult. But here's what's actually happening. When someone violates your boundaries, especially repeatedly, it creates a stress response in your body. Because boundaries aren't just about being polite. They're about control. And having control over your own life is one of the most fundamental psychological needs humans have. When someone pushes past your boundaries, your brain interprets it as a loss of control. And loss of control equals danger. Your body doesn't differentiate between my mum keeps asking invasive questions and I'm in an unsafe situation. It just knows something's wrong. Your heart rate goes up, your shoulders tense, your stomach knots. All because your brain's alarm system is going off, and the worst part, you can't even explain it without sounding dramatic. Because how do you tell someone that their concern feels like an attack? That their curiosity feels like control? That their love feels like pressure? So what do you actually do with all this? First, and I mean this, give yourself permission to feel however you feel. If you dread family gatherings, that's okay. That doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean you don't love your family. It just means you're aware of how these situations affect you. And honestly, that's pretty emotionally intelligent. Most people just suffer through it and never stop to ask why. You're asking why. That's growth. Second, get strategic. And I don't mean fake an illness every time, though honestly, no judgment if you've done that. I mean actually plan for your own well-being. Shorter visits. That's allowed. You don't have to stay for 6 hours just because everyone else does. Planned escape routes. Have a friend call you at a specific time so you have a reason to leave. Book a hotel instead of staying in the house. Drive separately so you're not trapped. Bring a buffer person, a partner or a friend who can help redirect conversations or give you a break. This isn't being dramatic. This is being smart. This is recognizing that you have limits and respecting them. And third, and this is the big one, you don't owe anyone your mental health, not even family, especially not family. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Sometimes the people who are supposed to love us the most are the ones who hurt us the most. Not because they're evil, not because they don't care, but because they're stuck in old patterns, old expectations, old versions of who they think we should be. And you can love them from a distance. You can care about them without sacrificing yourself. You can redefine what family time looks like for you. Maybe it's coffee with your favorite cousin instead of the whole chaotic dinner. Maybe it's a phone call instead of a visit. Maybe it's just not showing up at all. And that's okay. That's allowed. Because at the end of the day, the people who truly love you, who truly see you, will understand. They'll respect your boundaries. They'll meet you where you are. And the ones who don't? The ones who guilt you, pressure you, make you feel like you're wrong for protecting yourself. They're probably part of the reason you feel this way in the first place. And you don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them a performance. You don't owe them a version of yourself that makes them comfortable while you're falling apart inside. So next time someone asks why you're weird about family gatherings, you can explain the psychology if you want. Or you can just smile and change the subject. Either way, you're not broken. You're not damaged. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just done pretending that sharing blood automatically means feeling safe. And honestly, that's one of the healthiest realizations you can have. If this resonated with you, if you felt seen by any of this, I make videos breaking down human behavior in ways that actually make sense. No fluff, no judgment, just real psychology explained simply. So subscribe if you want more of that. Because understanding yourself isn't selfish, it's survival.